Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mampulo from Mampulo's Corner. In your mindset. Guys, it don't happen for Nigeria. People don't understand what is called the reality of life. It don't happen, it don't choke everybody. When I never hear, most of the political parties, almost all the political parties, most of them, they say they don't prepare for election rerun. They want to contest the presidential election, yes. They say they don't prepare. Every political party don't prepare now for a contest, for a rerun of the election. I say, They say that they fear. They don't know what the court go talk. So with the huge evidence when P2B don't bring, with the huge evidence when P2B don't bring, so I say, no matter how much they say them bribe, them burn. This case no go agree bend though. They say the APC itself. APC now them first start to prepare for the re-election. You go see video now. You know say I know they talk something. I know show you video. They say the APC first to now they start to prepare for this re-election. Now they don't even admit, say, we mess up for this election. we do rig them, even the blind can see. I don't want to talk too much. Make I just show on the video when they prepare for re-election. APC, they prepare for their own. PDP, don't they prepare for re-election? LP, they prepare for re-election. Everybody, every Nigerian must prepare for re-election. You see the election? We must redo them. For those who never see the video. For those who never see the video, all right now, watch the video.
Months after losing the presidential election and with a new administration already in play, the Labour Party is still very much in the thick of things. The party's national chairman, Julius Abure, is asking members of the Labour Party across the country and beyond to prepare for a rerun of the presidential election.
Jesus.
In his address to members of the party in the diaspora, he said the ruling party, that is the APC, is readying for a rerun and urged members of the Labour Party to do the same. But not everyone in the party seems to be on the same page. The factional National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party, Ayobami Arabambi, has accused the party's presidential candidates, Peter Obi, and the leader of Afenifere, Pa Ayo Adebanjo, of treason and plots to create chaos and overthrow President Bola Tinubu's government. Joining me now is Dr. Yunusa Salisu Tanko. He's the Obi Dati presidential chief spokesperson with the Labour Party. Welcome to Politics HQ, Dr. Tanko. Thank you for joining me. So let's start this conversation with a look at what's going on currently. So the case that your presidential candidate, Peter Obi, and the party have against President Bola Tinubu's electoral victory is still in front of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. So this urging that the national chairman, Julius Abure, is giving to party members in order to have them ready for this supposed presidential rerun that's coming, can you tell us where that's coming from?
Okay, if you are referring to the statement being made by the national chairman of the Labour Party, Barrister Julius Abure, on the clarion call to prepare our members for a rerun, well, that is not out of a place. It is actually a preparation towards what we are seeking for in the court of law. Remember, we have our prayers lined up to about 5 of these particular prayers. 1, that we should be declared outright winner. 2, there should be declaration that that particular candidate of the APC did not qualify to run for the election of the 2015, February 25th, 2015 general election. And that 3, that in the case that the court did not answer our first and second prayer, it should at least call for a rerun of that election generally because it did not meet the threshold and the requirement of the general election that INEC itself, based on the provisions of the law, made for the Nigerian people. And so therefore, that election should be cancelled, null and void, and then we should go for a rerun to establish who and who is qualified to run for the election, and then eventually we'll have a declared winner. This is a position of the political party, and then we are asking all of our members nationwide to prepare for that particular circumstances with the prayers that the judges and the judicial court will do justice to the case in court. Because we believe that actually the judiciary is the last hope of the common man, and then the judiciary have the last chance of making sure that they put the right wrong so that every Nigerian will be happy with our electionary system, and at least, not for anything, protect our democratic system.
All right. So in his comments to Labour Party members and supporters in the diaspora, the national chairman said that the party had received information that President Bola Tinubu's All Progressive Congress-led government was also getting ready for a rerun. So in terms of what it looks like, in terms of the APC getting set for a rerun, the party that is already now in power, still rather maintaining power here in Nigeria, and setting up for what would be a worst-case scenario in all ramifications for the party. What do you make of that?
Well, you know, they too are following the activities of the judiciary, and then they know what is going on in the Court of Petition Tribunal. And I'm sure they also know that there are two of us who are challenging that particular case, Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, and then Peter Obi of the Labour Party. And we have provided damning evidence to show that those particular elections did not meet the threshold that is required, and that the candidate of the APC, who for us we believe is just hanging in there, we can also see that probably he's sitting on a half stool, or hoping that until when the judiciary make an affirmation on his position, that is when we cannot say that yes, this particular election is done and dusted. Don't forget, this case is a marathon race, and it can go all the hog. But we are prepared to ensure and that we prepare for the election in case the judiciary is able to find its feet and courageous enough to actually do what is expected. You know, we have a situation in our hands.
For the first time,
come in and say that no, it is not possible. The judiciary cannot upturn the election. It has never been done in Nigeria. We can't have that. Where every situation has its own calling.
That's right.
When the Kenyan tribunal upturned the election, nobody thought it was going to happen. When it was done in Malawi, nobody thought it was going to happen. So what happens if it happens in Nigeria? At least for once, that means that we are trying to do something right. So we expect our judiciary to do what is right, not to follow a particular pattern of saying that we are following technicalities in trying to avert the danger of saying probably the office holder is being put into questioning and all. But the question that we want them to look into is the fact that what about the far-reaching damages that is already been instilled in the minds of the Nigerian youth who came in from far and wide to vote for the election and hoping that the real winner of the election will be declared? What about those aged persons who came out in large number to ensure that they vote for the right person, that the election will be made clear, credible, free, and fair? What about the hope that the Independent Electoral Commission has given to the Nigerian people, especially the Nigerian people and the international community, that this election will be held free and fair? And that is the reason why, when you saw the European Union giving its damning report, which I say they have been economical with the fact, because there are far damning issues that really resonated with that election. And don't forget, the Situation Room also made that particular revelation. Not also forgetting that the NDI, National Democratic Institute, make reference to that particular fact. And also the International Republican Institute also alluded that the election was not credible. So you see, there are about 4 reports. It's not that people are only alluding to the European Union report as if it's the only report. No, there are other reports that I gave a very, very strong recommendation that indicate that that election was a sham election and it did not represent the interests of the Nigerian people. And that, for the fact, should have been repeated or should have been cancelled long even before now.
All right, so Dr. Tanko, in some of your comments right now, you've used some words that have been quite interesting because there have been a number of statements attributed to members of the party that have been floating around. You talked about the real winner, the real person who should be in place, the right person who should be in place. And in terms of statements, we've seen that there are those who are accusing the party of using statements to potentially call for chaos. Now, in this instance, I'm referring to the factional National Publicity Secretary of the party, Ayobami Arabambi, who has been on television and has accused Peter Obi, as well as the leader of the social political group Afenifere, Pa Ayo Adebanjo, of treason and plots to create chaos and also overthrow President Bola Tinubu's government. Now, he in particular also mentioned that the two have been using the party's name to perpetrate acts of treason and create the impression that the party members are planning to make Nigeria ungovernable. And basically, this is because we heard Adebanjo speaking about the fact that he does not yet recognize President Tinubu as president.
Yes.
Also something that Peter Obi himself has said. In terms of these statements being weighty enough to be termed treason, Dr. Tanko, how do you respond to those allegations?
Let me say, first of all, for purpose of correction, we do not have factional publicity secretary. We have only one publicity secretary, and the publicity secretary of the Labour Party is Mr. Obiora, as we stand today. And we have one national chairman, Julius Abure. But you see, sometimes we make these issues and give room for those who do not have any record for them to make statements in the public domain, and then it will be held for public discussion, which of course I find very, very demeaning to the level of the politics in which we have found ourselves. For the simple fact, I think Peter Obi, as of today, should be a celebrated hero of our time.
Yes.
Peter Obi should be celebrated by every Nigerian that is living.
Yes.
You know why? Because Peter Obi has been able to stand tall to challenge the establishment in the wrongs that we as Nigerians try to cover up. How long can we continue to cover up when in an election, you and I and every Nigerian saw how certain ethnic groups were being profiled and being denied to vote? We saw how votes were being carted away and being destroyed at ballot boxes. We saw how election materials did not even get to their destination. You and I saw this particular thing happening. We saw in this particular Nigeria, in a country called Nigeria, how the electoral umpire was not able to declare a result of election that took place on 3 elections that took place on the same time.
Very useless.
The most important one being denied from being upheld as a result of uploaded in the
useless.
And then here we are, an electoral umpire who makes his own rules. Now, even in the court of law, the same electoral umpire is denying his own rule that it makes.
Oh dear.
Come on. And we are saying that probably that election was credible and it represent the interest of the Nigerian people.
God forbid.
Oh, no. And with regard to Pa Ayo Adebanjo, Pa Adebanjo is a well-Nobel Nigerian who has represented this country credibly well. Don't forget, that gentleman is a lawyer, perfected lawyer.
Our father
he has
in the Lord.
served this country with merit, and he makes his statement based on facts that he knows. So, Pa Ayo Adebanjo is a Nigerian of exceptional quality.
Yes.
And who is well-grounded and well-knowledgeable. And so how do you expect a well-knowledgeable Nigerian of that nature cannot stand tall and make a statement of his own belief, what he believes, and then you deny him and you tell him probably he's conducting a reasonable offense? Come on. That, for those who are making that particular allegation, those are the people that I think need to be re-examined, because I don't think they know the position of the law as regard to every individual for his making his freedom of speech as regard to what he seems his right has been impugned upon.
Arabambi knows
as
nothing.
regard to Peter Obi, he has followed the right rules and regulation of the law by going to the court. He has not mobilized, which he has the capacity to do. He has not mobilized his members to be on the street or even railroad or stampede on the courts. He still followed the rules and regulations. He did not direct his members to stampede on INEC offices. He continued to tell them to calm down, that they should follow the judicial provisions of the law. That is a gentleman of perfection. That is a Democrat of repute. That is a Democrat who has shown that he believes in the right process of this particular country. And so, therefore, he must be supposed to be upheld and be raised high and be carried along, that these are people of impeccable character.
Okay.
And with regard to the issue of what Peter Obi has done on a continuous basis, he has continued to say that the processes that brought this particular president into power is flawed and wrong. And so, therefore, that particular process must be clean. He said, he who seeks for equity must come with clean hands. And if you want to be called an excellency, you must come through an excellent process.
So,
this is a simple thing that he has said. Remember,
so Dr. Tanko,
Peter Obi has allocated results. Yes, please.
I need to ask because the national chairman has said that the party is ready to take this all the way to the Supreme Court. So let's play a game. I know you'll probably be reluctant, but let's play a 50-50 game. Let's say that this makes it all the way to the Supreme Court, and we have the country's highest court judging this matter at the end of the day. And for some reason, the Labour Party and Peter Obi lose. You are saying that Peter Obi is a man that follows the due process and follows rules and regulations. Is the party, as well as Peter Obi, ready to take whatever comes if this matter makes it to the Supreme Court?
When we get to that bridge, we will know how to cross it.
Yes.
I can assure you that Peter Obi is a true Democrat and he will follow rules and regulations of the law.
You get sense.
And because he is a true Democrat, he follows rules and that's why he's in court and he's ready to follow all the... Do you know the enormous pressure that is on this particular gentleman to withdraw his case? Because he's interested in following the rules and regulations? You ask him to go to court and we all join together and go to court. What does that become a problem? We're already in court and we are fighting our case according to the provision of the law.
That's right.
Why do you have problem with that? Why do you have to use fake media report in order to say that probably we've withdrawn our case? Why do you have to use intimidation? Why do you have to use security apparatus in order to intimidate Peter Obi or any one of us? Remember, there's a point in time in which even when he traveled outside the country, he was almost hacked down to say, you are not going back to the country. Some even advised him to leave that particular country just because he's trying to put Nigeria on the right path, which majority of our leaders have refused to do. How long can we continue to sweep the truth under the carpet? And you expect him to walk in Nigeria? It won't work.
Okay.
So until when we start putting the rules and regulations on the pedestal of this Nigerian contest, that is when we start getting it right. And don't forget that democracy is the rule of law. It only triumphs only under the rule of law. So allow this rule of law to triumph.
You get sense.
I'm not saying anything more than this.
You get sense. Guys, when I don't see the video, if you know you supported P2B before, you will be obedient. Go and look for your PVC. Now message one, I want to send you be this one. because you see this court case, nobody know where they go. Even I say even APC don't they prepare. They don't prepare for a run for the next election, presidential election. They say, I hear from this video now, they say they don't prepare, they prepare. Because there's evidence. Evidence when they are against them in court of law is too much. Say they don't see the possibility. Say this case might go in their favor. So what about you when you're obedient? And they ask you, your PVC, you don't bring away, you keep them because you might end up going for the next election. I don't want to talk too much. Guys, if you love what you're doing, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, even on TikTok. All of my police gonna love, guys. Peace out.